Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
System. And the other thing is, when we held a public forum, no parents showed up. So how do you get the parents to be more involved in their own children's education?
Did you give you permission to film this?
I did last time and there wasn't a problem.
I just want to make sure. I'm sorry, I just noticed the camera. I want to make sure you guys are okay with him filming. Back to your question about the, that was an article Summer broke off from the paper, and I liked Summer. Actually, I still talk to her occasionally and text her because we became friends over the years. She did a whole series of articles on different diversity issues in our school. We have a very small amount of African American administrators, or minority administrators in general. You know, Summer, of course, kind of pushed me to the, what are you doing to recruit? Well, we're not, because at the end of the day, we're going to hire the best applicant for any job. The same thing when the question came up about suspensions and discipline of minority children versus other children. So she asked the question, and I'll be completely honest, I was like, because she always called me first before she began, I said, I don't even know what I've never looked at that. I've never thought about, is there any kind of disparity between? So what it did is it opened up a conversation district-wide about, are we treating everybody the same? Does everybody have a level playing field when it comes to discipline? And what I heard overwhelmingly, now of course I'm not dealing with the teacher in the classroom. I don't have time to talk to all 1,100 of them. But in speaking to our principals, our assistant principals who were in charge of discipline, our deans, there really was a mindset of they're colorblind. The numbers skewed. So we started having the conversation, and then one of the things that came out of it, and this is a true story. One of my friend's son, and he was part of, it was him and 2 other kids, and they did something they shouldn't have done. There's no doubt. It was not something I would consider a suspendable offense, but I don't get to make that decision. They were all suspended. 3 white kids, by the way, all suspended. One of the parents calls me and says, well, we know what has happened. They just ran an article in the paper about how you guys aren't suspending enough white kids. So they suspended my kid, and it's one of those arguments, I can't win that argument ever, on either side. I can never win the argument of, because in order to believe that we are suspending minorities at a higher rate, you have to believe that we are intrinsically biased against minorities in our district. And I know that's not true because I know the people in our district. So there's a very hard conversation, and it was the same conversation with the diversity hiring. You know, there was this implication that we were, you know, if we had a position for an assistant principal and we got 30 applications, that it was 15 minorities and 15 white people. Well, that wasn't the reality. So if your assumption is right off the bat that we are biased, I don't know that I can get over that hump other than to tell you that Ian Vincent's personal experience with 7 years in this district is that we're not. Uh-oh.
First of all, I know, thanks. I hear what you're saying, but it is impossible to grow up in the United States of America and be colorblind. So as much as we want not to be colorblind, as much as we want to be colorblind, we cannot. Okay, so let's just assume that there's possibly some non-colorblind activity going on in the school district, because it's in the air we breathe. We want not to be, but we are. So let's just say that's number one. Number two, I worked with Summer on this article. The numbers in Charlotte County are self-explanatory. That the percentage of expulsion and suspension for African heritage children is I was just saying much higher, I was gonna say twice as high, I don't remember the
I
exact
don't remember
numbers.
the numbers either.
I have the numbers, we have the numbers, we have all of those numbers, and some of the schools are outlandishly twice and 3 times the amount. So I think that that's really something that we cannot just say, we're colorblind, you know, what is it? I think it's really an insult to our intelligence. I just want to say one other thing before you. In terms of why the parents don't get involved, I think if we raise the minimum wage so that mothers and fathers don't have to work when there are school hearings and school activities and teacher conferences, we would get the parents involved, because we must assume that parents love their children, care about their children, all parents, even poor parents, even African heritage parents love their children.
Yeah, let me just say, I don't disagree with I wasn't trying to imply that the lack of parent involvement was because they don't love their children. It has to do with, part of it is working. I'll say this though, and I'm going to get booed. When my kids were at Meadow Park, and my wife was active with the PTO and the SAC and all that stuff. If we had I remember the superintendent was coming to just give a presentation, and the teacher sent out flyers, did the voice call, did everything else to try to get parents showed up, and like 8 parents showed up, and it's the same 8 parents that showed up for everything at the school. They had some Title I money that required that they have these parent engagement things. And Title I is our federal dollars. I know I'm telling you things you already know, but in case everybody else doesn't. It required a certain amount of parent engagement as part of receiving those funds. So the woman who was in charge of running the whole thing was one of my daughter's friends, and she was like, "We're not going to make our numbers. We have to show so many parents came to so many things." So she bought pizzas. We had like 150 parents there. And it broke my heart. It broke my heart, and I'll tell you why. If your life was such that you were able to show up on a night when there was pizza, but you weren't able to show up on a night when there wasn't pizza, you made a choice. So I'm just don't get me wrong, I was like, oh, thank God we're getting the money. But I just want you to, parent involvement is one of those things that we struggle with. I hear it all the time. How are you going to get more parents involved? We're working. I mean, you go to our schools, they are begging parents to get involved. So,
I thank you for your time. Our time is up, but you leave us filled with thoughts.
and just if any of you ever have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm easy to find. I love sitting down with people. We may disagree on things. I just want you to know I'm never going to think, oh, I don't like that lady because she disagreed with me on things. I don't do that with people. I've spent my life as an environmental consultant being yelled at by people who disagreed with my projects, and at the end of the day, we were still friends. So I want you to make sure I'm fine with that. If anybody ever wants to... What's that?
I say thank you.
And if anybody ever wants to have a chat, I'm always available. Thank you.
Into law enforcement nowadays. And it's a nationwide trend. I've talked to sheriffs and police chiefs not only in the state but around the nation, and they're having problems hiring. We got a couple things working against us. Number one is when the economy is turning around, when it's doing well, a lot of people will go into the private sector because yes, you can make more money up front. And then secondly, everybody knows the anti-law enforcement sentiment that's been going on. So a lot of people aren't rushing into this profession. So we have that growth that we're trying to really... Yes?
Yes, I have 2 questions. Do you believe in free speech and the Constitution on your government-ran Facebook page?
Mr. Sheets, you know why you were banned. We have rules. You did not follow the rules.
All right.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I have an easy question. In Florida, can a consumer buy Narcan at a pharmacy? I know in other parts of the country they've allowed...
I don't think you can yet in Florida, but I believe, if I remember correctly, there is a bill up in Tallahassee right now So they're trying to get it passed.
Thank you.
So, yes.
Sheriff, why was this citizen banned from your Facebook website? What's that all about?
He didn't follow the rules.
What rules did he break?
They're posted on our Facebook page. You're more than welcome to read it.
You wouldn't be able to share
Anybody
with
else?
us? You wouldn't be able to share with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, my question was not...
I'm
answered.
talking to her.
I
Yes,
asked you
ma'am.
a question. You work for me, sir.
I don't work for you.
Yes,
Ma'am.
you do. Why did you ban this citizen?
Ma'am, what's your
You
question?
can't answer the question, Sheriff?
I think
I
you've
have
been
the
asked
floor.
and answered.
Why is it, you know, your department is supposed to be keeping the peace, taking care of whatever. It doesn't seem right to me that you also have to take care of those who are mentally ill and those who are drug addicts. Why don't they open up a facility? I mean, you're going to have to hire more staff, and where are you going to put all these people? You said 60% between the...
Yeah.
That doesn't make
That's
sense.
what I'm telling you. That's been the question. Like I said, when the government can't seem to come up with answers, they push it off on us, and then it's up to us to try and figure it out.
No, that's not right.
Yes, sir.
I noticed this past year, I haven't seen much in the paper about grow houses, as far as finding grow houses and shutting them down. Is that still a problem?
It's decreased a lot, and that's basically because some of the legalization that's been going on in other states. We are seeing a lot of it being imported from these other states. Right now, you know who your biggest trafficker is in drugs? The United States Postal Service.
Just a follow-up question. What about meth? How do you find meth operations?
Just a lot of good investigation. We get some tip work and all that stuff. So.
Especially for building it.
Yeah, they are very explosive. You got to be very careful with them. We do have some people on our staff that are specially trained to take them apart because they are very, very explosive. Ma'am, you had a question?
Oh, yeah, to follow up on this immigration situation. If a Hispanic person were in an accident...
Can you speak just a little louder, please? We can really hear
If a
you.
Hispanic person, appearing person, were in an accident, it was clearly not their fault, are you telling me that there would be no reason then that you would contact ICE?
No, I don't. We
You
don't.
don't what?
We don't contact ICE on that.
But I'll talk to you after.
Okay. Because remember, right now, we don't have it's the federal government's responsibility, and also they have jurisdiction over immigration. We as local law enforcement do not. So when we take somebody in on a local crime, local charges, we have custody of them and we will notify ICE. But yeah, I'll talk to you afterwards because I don't know what you're talking about.
Sheriff, I'd like to ask you another question.
No, sir. Anybody
My
else?
family and members of this crowd have went to war defending freedom and the right to
And I
free
thank you for
speech.
your service. Yes,
We'd
ma'am.
like you to answer the question.
My husband and I have snowbirds, and we're down here 6, 7, 8 months. We love it here, and we're very grateful to have a police station right in Inglewood now. Anyway, we're over in Rotunda, on Rotunda Circle, and we noticed last year, I think the speed limits were like 30, and now we came back this year, and I can't remember. It's when they were changed to 35, so now it's 35.
Yeah, that is up to the county. They set the speed limits. We don't. They usually come out and they have their engineers do studies with traffic and speed, and then they determine the proper speed. Because I also notice on Boundary they lowered the speed limit.
To 30.
Yes, that used to be 45.
Over on Candy Road, not too long, and I noticed that this, that same thing, it's 30 miles an hour there, but I wondered why it was 30 there and 35 on our side, but if you don't have anything to do with it.
No, I don't have anything to do that. We don't set it. We just enforce it.
How do we do as citizens in our
you can reach out. You can reach out to your county commissioner. I don't know if you guys ever have Bill speak to you guys. Yeah, Bill Truex will come and speak to your group, but you can reach out to him individually, or you can invite him to one of these sessions like he did me, and ask him to kind of give you an overview of the county and also voice your concerns. But either way, you can contact his office or.
Because our road is so narrow, and
Yeah.
there are no.
There's no sidewalks over there.
There's no place to walk. We do walk on the roads, but I mean, we have to be off sometimes, and little traffic jams and so on.
So I never noticed they raised Rotunda's circle to 35 from 30.
They go 50 and 60 through there.
All the other
Okay. Well, I know we've been getting a lot of complaints of speeders over there, and I know Chris has been having his staff out there as much as we can. That's one of the biggest complaints we get countywide is regard to traffic. So.
Who's Chris?
I'm sorry, Lieutenant Williams.
Oh, because Rotunda West, I mean, this has been going on for years. We'll advise you to call the police. So I don't think Truex is involved at all. I mean, give you a story.
Let's find out.
He's not going to.
Well, when it comes to setting the speed limits, that is the county function. I have nothing to do with that. Now, I can make some recommendations to them, but they are going to do their studies and side with what their engineer
No,
says.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we are advised to call the police.
They're speeders, yes.
Well, yeah, with the speeders, you're absolutely right. That's what they're going to say, because that's what we do. We have to enforce that. So, yeah. No, and he will tell you that. Anybody else?
You have a question in the back. What are you afraid of, Sheriff? Why can't you answer all citizens?
All I'm going to ask is about intelligence of policing, that's all.
Here's the venue. American Legion Hall, people died and bled for free speech, and he's trying to restrict
Correct.
it. Please, wake up,
He
people.
answered the question. He
And-
didn't like his answer.
No, he works for us. He is supposed to answer all questions.
I'm asking about intelligence policing. What are you using for software and hardware?
Yeah, why don't you be civil, Sheriff, and answer the question? Why did you ban a citizen? Drop it. What are you afraid of, Sheriff?
Didn't follow the directions, I'll say
Who's
it.
got your tongue?
Intelligence policing, what are you using for software and hardware? That's all I'm asking.
We've got a lot of different
No, I'm
programs.
having it right here in this public meeting.
That's all I'm asking.
Try to force me
That's
out.
all I'm asking.
This is rude. You and he together is rude.
Yeah, and you're all on video.
This is supposed to be
denying
America.
Free speech. So sue me.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
We thank you. I'm Al Bickle, President of Neighborhood Watch. I appreciate you all coming. I'm sure that some of you might have some additional questions. The sheriff might be around for a few minutes afterwards, but there are some refreshments in the back, and stay around and enjoy the refreshments, and thank you all for coming.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. American
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Please do.
I'm not going to tell you.
No free speech. Oh my God. It is free speech. Transparency in government. If a government official won't answer a question, why they banned a citizen, something's wrong. You bet. Oh, free speech.
That's not it.
Freedom.
That is not it.
Freedom. Have you ever heard freedom?
I understand freedom. What's the freedom about?
This gentleman over here has been banned from posting on the Facebook page of Charlotte County Government Sheriff's Department.
Is he in violation of the rules?
I wanted to know. The sheriff refused to answer.
It's not
That
about
was
that
the question. Well, why wouldn't he answer the question? What's so difficult about the question?
What did you do on Facebook? What's the agenda? What is the problem?
We're in American Legion Hall. These men have died and bled for free speech.
I mean,
you
you
people
obviously
trampled on it.
Did you even serve? You don't look like a couple of jerks. There's nothing better to do with your time.
Hey, Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done... Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
Wow.
been on a bike before, we're
Sheriff's
just
getting a little too pushy.
is
You
the
work
first
for
part.
us, Sheriff. Just keep
keeping
that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheep up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head, help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.